this is the Rakdos Scam Sacrifice deck that we played a lot of, a deck that I like a lot, and I've had pretty good success with in the past. Mostly trying Bowmasters over Mayhem Devil. They kind of do a similar thing where they add like extra damage, a little bit of extra reach, but Bowmasters is lower on the curve, very good with the Undying effects, very good with Goblin Bombardment, and also seemingly a well-positioned card in the metagame in general, and also with the ring being around. So this is also kind of mostly me wanting to cast Bowmasters because I haven't done it yet, been just so focused on ring decks. You're up against Hammer or Murktide or Creativity or Living End. You should like effectively know what their deck looks like. You know what I mean? There's not going to be like many surprises there, and we should play Blood Crypt so like the Feign Death's maybe a little bit easier to hold up. Why no tablets in the Abletron list? I mean, those are just kind of like the flex spots. You know what I mean? I'm even like still kind of ambivalent on like are the tablets good? They've been very swingy for me in general. On only 19 lands, we have 22. You're counting the Malakir Rebirths. I think the last deck is better than the Coffers deck. It's very different. So like the main thing I really don't like about the Coffers deck, Opponent reveals Sanctum of Ugin here, which is good, and they play Sanctum of Ugin, game over. Okay, the main thing I don't like about the Coffers deck is you have a really hard time answering Pithing Needle. And so I'm starting to work on a build of Coffers splashing white for Reprieve and Leyline Binding. And it doesn't look like good, but I'm like messing around with it a little bit. Oh, and also Shadow Prophecy. Prophecy's kind of interesting. So I think I have the main deck together. Actually, we can. I don't know if this is gonna be an off-stream deck. Like today, like I really need to focus on resting because I woke up at 3 a.m. I need to like not go too crazy, but I'm also like really motivated, so maybe it's fine. But this was like the tentative main deck. It may end up like playtesting a bit better. I could see like playing less discard spells. I don't know if there's another white card you want to play. I don't think I really want to play Vindicate. But it does look like the mana base works. For the light white splash and like binding, answering like opposing Cairns, opposing Needle seems very interesting. Reprieve is a card that I think is interesting in the shell too, or like good in the shell. And then like Shadow Prophecy as like your card selection effect. Over Profane Tutor makes you better against Teferis. So I'm not really sure though, and like the sideboard is also like I'm a little bit torn on, but this is also something we could try to get to this week. Nation with the gifted sub, thank you as well. Okay, so we're up against Tron. I'm also trying to bring in Blood Moons against Creativity, so we're on the Blood Moon plan. And then because you're tapping out for Blood Moon, I don't think you also want Necromentia, so I'm trying like Blood Moons and Orvars instead of just the Necromencias that we've had in the past. Bowmasters does trigger off of like their stars and stuff. It's probably like not the best card of the matchup, but we'll keep them in, especially because we're still playtesting. Got like the Furies and the Village Rites. We could play Furies on the play with the plan to scam them. Actually, we can maybe like play 2 Fury and 2 Witness. Capullo with the 2, thank you. And if this is a deck tech for Hey Nation, get to that. We can keep this. Lean a little bit on the Needle. Sam Food. This is still something I'm working on. I think the next Sam Food deck I play, I want it to be a build that is playing Aether Vial. Oh, but you're playing the Protean Hulk. Okay. Yeah, so I kind of think that if you're playing the Protean Hulk build, you probably can't also play Tyvar. But getting access to Fauna Shaman is interesting. Yeah, I think you should play 4 Unmarked Grave and just have access to that like curve of Unmarked Grave into Footsteps more often. I'm also not 100% sure you want to play Grand Abolisher, but I think that you probably do. I'm like it's like Sanctum of Ugin revealed again. This time they can play a power plant though. Alright, let's pitch the Grief now, and then we may see something we can needle. The One Ring, Urza's Tower. Is that the missing piece? It is. Karn. Alright, I'll go game 3. Fair enough. Alright. Yeah, I think that like you can be Tyvar Sam food and just play more Sams and play more Cat Ovens and not play the Protean Hulk combo, or you can be Protean Hulk combo with 4 Mark Grave, 4 Persist. What I really like about Protean Hulk in Asmo decks is like Asmo can kill your own Protean Hulk if you're reanimating it with Persist. Turn 2 Ragavan, or turn 2 Blood Moon. Which we can maybe wait a turn on so we can play Bowmasters. Maybe Bowmasters in response to like a star. That's kind of my thought on this stuff. But we do need to try the Protean Hulk stuff too. Tyvar, so you can priest back Hulk and sack itself end of turn. Yeah, I just feel like it's so high on the curve, you know, because you have the footsteps and the Tyvar, so you have like 8 3-drops. It's kind of my issue with it, more so than just like that that dynamic, you know. Okay, yeah, so they did play the Chromatic Sphere, so we get to play the Bowmasters and punish them if they draw a card. And then we have Blood Moon for next turn. First time I've cast the card. It seems pretty good. It does have flash. Yeah, but if they could, if for some reason they hold it up and I cast the Bowmasters, then I just don't get the trigger. I don't think there's really any reason to play it at instant speed this game. Maybe I don't know, if they like just choose to not sack the star, I'm probably pretty happy with that. Oh yeah, you can't respond to Sphere anyways, you can respond to star. The first tree in the builds with no legendary creatures. I'm not saying it's just bad, but I'm saying I'm confused. Can you do damage to itself? You can, and then you can Undying it if that's ever relevant. 2-mana Anthem is lit. Wouldn't you just rather play another Bushwhacker over the Anthem? Like, I think that I would rather just play Reckless Bushwhacker over the Anthem effect. But again, I don't know if I'm missing something, or if just like literally 2-mana Anthem is better than a Bushwhacker. Because if it is, like, if it is better than a Bushwhacker, why are we not playing more Anthems? I guess because they're legendary. Anthem is always +1/+1. Yeah, but Bushwhacker comes like with another body on it, gives things haste. Bushwhacker needs Surge, doesn't give toughness. Yeah, I don't think Surge is hard at all in the deck, and I don't think that not giving toughness is that relevant, but. Again, yeah, these are definitely arguments, and I could just be wrong. You also like lose Gigantha, which isn't like much, but like for like literally 1 copy. Like at that point, it's like 1 Bushwhacker versus 1 of this card. Like the whole boring Gigantha conversation becomes more important. If I play my Seasoned Pyromancer, it's just gonna get countered, but I think I'm still going to. Discord with the deck. Thopter Sword featuring the ring. Ooh, and then sometimes they just don't have it. Blue-white control, pretty good matchup. Played 4 leagues, never cast Anthem once, easy to have it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this Stoneforge Mystic card always throws me off. I always think it's a different card. At first, I always think, and it's weird because it's a new card, but I think of the new 2-drop like Power Conduit creature when I see this Stoneforge Mystic art. Okay, do you have a Manifold Key? You should probably be playing a Manifold Key, unless I'm just missing it. To untap your ring with. Ooh. Okay, let's go to combat first. We win the game if this Bombardment resolves, like, really easily. Stream title 8.0. Okay, refresh. Dragon, if the stream title is still out of date after you refresh, let me know. Yeah, I don't think you want to play Reality Chip. That's probably what you can cut for the key. You should be playing a Manamo in your deck. Manamo is also a way for you to untap Ring, and if you were to play Imri's stock goes a little bit up with Manamo, but you should still play it anyways. It's just, you know, and there's 1 copy, and there's untap, taps for blue. Can we ever... Yeah, I think we can probably bait a counterspell on Village Rites. Can I play Lord and Bowmaster to force? Yeah, that's a combo. Yeah, or you. I also don't think I'd play the Chromatic Star necessarily. I do kind of like main deck Needle. Like your Yawgmoth matchup is usually really tough. I don't know if I love the main deck Relic, especially with the sword. I also kind of hate Metallic Rebuke. I would probably like even just play Spell Pierce over Metallic Rebuke, which actually sounds kind of good to me. Okay, they did have use a Holding Charm does make sense there. And I do think that scamming the Fury seems like a pretty hard overcommit. I want to... No, let's just hold up Feign Death for Verdict. Yeah, Feign Death, the Spyro or Bowmaster. Probably the Spyro. Darksteel Citadel, I don't think I'd play with the Thopter Foundry casting cost requirement. I do like 23 lands, though. Yeah, so maybe cut the chip, cut the star. Probably don't main deck the Relic. Yeah, I don't think you want to main deck the Relic. And then just go +2 Ingenious Smith plus a Manifold Key. That's probably what I would do in the main. Cut the Citadel for Manamo. I don't know what this Mystic Reflection is for. If it's for creativity, I wouldn't play it. Also, Wear Tear is a card that I just kind of don't recommend right now with the ring being so good, if that makes sense. Okay, up against Blue-White Control, maybe on like almost no changes. I don't think I necessarily want Blood Moon on the draw. I think I'll play like 1 Moon over Fury 4, but because you're like pretty happy to draw the first Moon and you're not that happy to draw 2 Furies sometimes. Yeah, the Graveyard Hate is also all over the place. Don't play Torpor Orb in your Stoneforge Mystic, Ingenious Smith, Urza deck. Don't play Torpor Orb. And I'm not sure like what white-based exile artifact removal you could play over Wear Tear right now. Like Lead and Relic Ward is probably not that good, but I'm sure you've got some options. Where do I get my shirts from? This one I think was for my mom. I think she got it in Mexico. Maybe misremembering. I buy like a lot of like goofy shirts online, and then I do a lot of like thrifting, and I bought a bunch of clothes at an estate sale earlier this year. Oh, I thought they didn't play a land. It looked like they didn't play a land. I bought a bunch of shirts from an estate sale this year, and then Esther buys me a bunch of stuff too. Been liking Gaia Reach with Bowmasters a lot. Good feedback, good feedback. 2-mana White Tuck. Oh, the new one, the Lost to History. Merch soon. I keep telling Esther if she wants to, I don't think I have time to make merch and stuff, but I told Esther she could run it if she wants to, and she always says she's going to, and she's also a busy lady with a full-time job. Lost to Legend, yeah. Card used to be called Lost to History, I think. But my memory of that could be lost to history as well. Stokey, 27 months, thank you. Actually, let's evoke a Fury too. Oh yeah, Mystic Gate Verdict. Classic. Tyvar fits the new Samwise shells. I think you can build it with Tyvar. I'm going to be working on some Sam builds today. I have so much to do. But I do need to spend more time with it. So if they minus, they get Bowmastered twice. Yeah, they're still scared of Moon. Can you dash without bouncing if Dress Down is up? I believe that Dress Down... I think Ragavan has no haste and does get bounced to your end of turn. Or to your hand end of turn. Yeah, I'll just ping that. Oh. Did not mean the F6. Yeah, let's just Seasoned Pyromancer with Feign Death up. Oh, wait. Fuck. I'll lose the Feign Death being up. Well, that's on me. Right, whatever. Usually a pretty good matchup. If you cast Dash after Dress Down and it gets haste. But if you're putting cast Dress Down after you haste, it loses. That sounds right. Especially if like this just goes really fast, which it does a lot of the time. Oh, should have played Marsh Flats. I could maybe have gotten Basic Mountain here too. Is this your PT deck? I hope so. I love this archetype. It's one of my faves. So I think... So I can go Bombardment. Yeah, let's make sure that we're not super cold to Wrenn and 6. Just trying to think. I don't think I'm going to evoke the Grief right now, though, because if they do Wrenn and 6, I can just sack the Ragavan, ping the Wrenn, play Bowmaster, ping the Wrenn, sack Orc token, ping the Wrenn. Okay, I think in response to Prismatic Ending, I'll just use the Village Rites, though. Could have maybe been better to, like, plan to hardcast the Grief next turn. Opt? Yes, please. I mean, my opponent's like really clearly holding up counter magic, so just channel Sokenzan with Bombardment in play seems maybe better than casting Grief here. Imagine if they Snapcaster Opt, we just kill the Snapcaster with the Bowmaster. What's with the paid actors this league? Magic Online players are just, you know, a special breed. The 5th lane for like Din is like... Yeah, we just like don't even need to. Well, I guess that they will probably block first. And yeah, so I guess we will sack actually. Maybe it was better to sack the Orc army. Because we get one back after the Opt. Yeah, that would probably better to sack them. The army. Again, this is our first league with the deck. So like in theory, 1 less damage. Moxie shows real back sack, but Bowmaster list. Oh, that's probably because I downloaded the. I'll edit it. It's literally just like Bowmaster over Mayhem Devil, or those the sideboard, right? Sideboard's wrong also. Okay, I will get it fixed. Again, I woke up at 3 a.m. I flew into town, and I like got right into streaming after saying hi to Esther and the dogs. I'm a little bit. I'm like usually like pretty fried and like, you know, spacey and airheaded, but today like my prefrontal cortex is extra fucked. I think we'll cast the Grief this turn. Just trade it for the counter spell probably. And then playing the Malakir Rebirth as a land to unlock Din, Hardcast Fury is probably right. I would not recommend Opt in your decks. Alright, I'll take the card they have 1 of. They're effectively at 3 also. Okay, so we won that game. I'm going to update the mock script and everything, and I think this is basically just set up the same ways we did the last match against Blue White Control, and 1 Blood Moon, out 1 Fury. And then I'll update the extension while my opponent's sideboards. Yeah, locked it in for the PT. Honestly, like I would love to play this deck at the PT. I've only ever played Red Black deck at 1 paper tournament. It was an RCQ, and I beat Hammer, which was like the worst matchup, 4 times in the Swiss, and then I lost to Creativity in the finals. But also like the worst matchup for this deck was always Hammer, and with Hammer being like pretty heavily on the decline potentially, this is exciting. Although maybe with Forge Anew that's not the case. This hand is sick. Kind of won the matchup lottery today. Yeah, with this deck for sure. I'm not sure. I think with the Anvil Tron deck too, it's not like we hit anything too bad. We did beat a Murktide player who went turn 1 Ragavan all 3 games. Lots of decision points here. I think that I like just casting Ragavan and holding up Village Rites. It's just like really likely that we get to turn like this into like a really clean 2-for-1 against the control deck in this spot, and then like hit our 3rd land because we drew it off the Village Rites. There's to be our Living In, Creativity, Yogg, Scam, Hammer. I think Rhinos is like over. Yeah, or at least Hammer, maybe Hammer, Scam, and Yogg, and like maybe he's even higher. Also nice that they have used 2 of their pendings, so it's maybe a bit easier for a bombardment to stick. No more saving fetch lands for Mayhem Devil, but I think it's fine to just play the Swamp here. Bowmasters with like Bombardment plus Malakir Rebirth, getting to reset it, it's just so much damage. Okay, they do have the 3rd pending, but we do have 2nd Bombardment. Rhino's very bad versus Living In, though. That's true, yeah. I mean, at the very least, like, Living In making a big upswing was certainly, like, it's something that's kind of recent consideration also. Like, it wasn't, like, really, like, a top 5 deck until the land cyclers. Although you can help the Living In matchup with Rhinos if you, like, play a bunch of Endurances in your flex spots, I would think. I could be wrong. Could just still be really bad. I haven't played much of that matchup. Okay, so let's just see if let's play our Marsh Flats, then let's cast the Seasoned Pyromancer, see if it resolves. If it resolves, then we'll Malakir Rebirth. Yeah, Bowmasters is playing way better than I thought it would. It probably took me a little too long to cast the card, but after taking some time to cast it, I'm higher on it than I was. I mean, I thought it was gonna be just like a bit more fringe playable than it's feeling right now. Feels like pretty damn playable. Revisit Old Gen Sacrist and Coco. I haven't in a long time, but I feel like this build is so much better. This build always feels so good, and like just people don't play it. All right, new matchup, 3-0 in this league. Bowmaster's Echo of Aeons, too cute. I mean, there's just like not a good way to get Echo in the graveyard, probably. LED, that is not a legal card of this format. But it could be a legacy combo, sure. Like, I mean, that could be a legacy deck. 4-color ring is also showing insane results. Yeah, we played it last week too. We played 4-color ring also, and it was very good. It was definitely like one of the more impressive decks we played last week. We only played 1 league though. Cast your Consider. A bauble? Nice. I think I'm getting Mountain? No, let's just get another Blood Crypt. Yeah, this is our first time we were playing with Bowmasters. The card has been, I think, much better than I expected it to be. Just like immediately, like very, very impressed by it. Yeah, could kill our own Witness here. Let's do that. I think try to find a 3rd land's probably correct. We did find 3rd land. Next turn we could do something like Bowmaster, Evoke Fury, double trigger Bowmaster, kill the Shredder. This is kind of crazy. Again, it's early, but Bowmaster, like I know there's like a lot of hype generated from Bowmasters over the weekend. I just didn't had a chance to play it before last week. But it is like already been like so impressive. Like this, like I said, it'll be a 5/5 already. This is probably the matchup where it's at the best. I don't know. Like I don't know. The Fury is also a 4/4. Like how's like my opponent even do anything here? If they can't, if they crack the bauble, I get to trigger Bowmasters. This is nuts. Yeah, kind of sad to kill the Shredder with double Bowmaster in play. Shredder maybe replacing that Bowmasters around? Maybe. It's kind of funny dynamic. Turning like the down, like, oh no, like all of a sudden, like actually wanting to trigger your opponent's Shredder is so funny. They just couldn't crack their bauble. Bowmaster no reach how? Yeah. Horrible set. Terrible design. Literally unplayable. Is this just better than Rakdos Scam? I've always felt like this build is like potentially better than the other one. It's at the very least like way better in the fair matchups, and then like not much worse in the unfair matchups where Voidwalker doesn't matter, and there's some matchups where like losing Voidwalker is like a really big deal, with the exception of like Bombardment's also really good against like Living End. So it's kind of like maybe like those two matchups are kind of the same, but against like Goryo's decks, Titan decks, the lack of Voidwalker, you do feel it. Alright, so the Terminates are kind of largely for this matchup. We're going to bring in the 4 here. Bowmaster is really fun with K command. Is it just because it's a creature that can be returned by Kolaghan's command? Is that that's the really fun thing? Right, let's do a Bloodghast Fury number 4. Like, turn 1 Feign Death Fury is really good, but we only have 3 Feign Deaths in this build, so I don't think we're supposed to be super in on it. Much of a Witness. Witness is pretty good against them, though, but we don't really have, like, particularly bad cards. Potato with the 20 months. Thank you. Any way Obnix's Cup to Kingpin fits in the deck? I don't think so. I don't think the Obs are good. Let's just win more. Like, I would play Mayhem Devil over Ob if I wanted to, like, raise the mana curve, but I really like not raising the mana curve, which is, like, what the Bowmasters let you do. What Bowmasters really need is Luris. VIP for Coffee Pirate? Oh, well. I wish I was a coffee pirate today. I'm on 4 cups. I'm on 4 cups today, which is twice what I usually do. The Village Rites is going to be pretty hard to hold up with the Graven Cairns. Thinks Gaia Reach is worth... I would not play Gaia Reach in this build ever. It's way too hard to cast. Alright, they can have an iteration. Yeah, my day has been crazy. My last 3 days have been crazy. I just spent 2 days road tripping 21 hours to Utah with my best man and 2 dogs. We spent most of the time home brewing a TTP-RG system, which we still need to put more work into, but we got kind of the baseline down. It sounds kind of fun. And I woke up at 3 a.m. and flew home, and it's crazy. What was I doing in Utah? My friend who has moved to Utah last year for work was back here for a month to visit and to hang out and do his baby shower because they're expecting a baby, and they brought his dogs with them, and his wife is very pregnant and you couldn't drive back with him, and it's kind of hard to manage 2 dogs on a 21-hour road trip by yourself, so I was happy to go with them. Based on any system original, it's kind of like a blend of Pathfinder 2e and 5e is kind of the thought. But we're kind of thinking about trying a 1 through 10 level system rather than 1 through 20, and we're also trying to do away with the ability score modifier system completely and just into a proficiency system. I guess I just don't want to Feign Death. Terminating the Channeler is kind of... Yeah, let's just play Ragavan. If we terminate the Channeler and they have a Murktide, the game just ends, so... Let's not, especially because the Channeler just can't block the Ragavan anymore. Flying seems tough for a pregnant person. Yeah, yeah, it's just not as bad as a 21-hour road trip. Yeah, I imagine going to be locked in Utah for the baby's out in 3 months. Is Graven Cairns over Urborg mostly because of mono black copper? So we have double red spells in the deck. We're a Seasoned Pyromancer deck. We have double red and double black. So I think and so I've liked the first copy of Graven Cairns. It is awkward in some spots, like it is currently awkward right now. 3 mana for Murktide, playing right into second Terminate. Welcome to Utah. Lots of game stores here. Yeah, when I was at DreamHack Dallas, there were some people in Utah who were telling me about it because we had this trip kind of planned. I was gonna stay out in Utah. Me and Esther were gonna be there for a week, and I was gonna stream for the week. But this was before I qualified for the PT, and I got the testing team, and now I just I just wouldn't be able to hang out really for the whole week. I'd just be working the whole time, so we decided to not. Okay, we don't want to legend rule the Ragavans because then we can't feign death. But I was like, they're like, hey, come to the store. And I was like, yeah, maybe. It was like a genuine maybe, but then I just like left after 20 hours or something. Yeah, we were thinking about going on a hike yesterday, but after all the driving and like not being that acclimated to the mountain air, we decided to just watch a couple movies. I had still never seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. I've been wanting to for a long time, but it never felt like the right time. But yesterday was the right time, and it was great. It was just so good. I was just kind of scared to watch it because everyone talks about how great it is, and I'm like, wanted to be in the right mood to watch it for the first time, if that makes sense. Yeah, movie was really, really good. And then we also watched RRR, which is a Indian action movie, Bollywood action movie that he had never seen and I had seen, and it was fun. Okay, so we'll go ping the it could be better to ping them. Like, it's maybe better to, like, just deal them 2 damage than to kill the Shredder. Probably almost, no, it's just better to kill the Shredder, never mind. I need to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once with Esther. I just felt like with that movie, there was so much pressure. Because everyone I know is just like, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the best movie I've ever seen. Like, there's like nobody who's not like super high on it, and I just for the longest time wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but last night I was finally ready. The movie is okay. Thank you. Like I need more. If you're gonna recommend a movie, be like, yeah, it's pretty good. I can't handle the pressure. Bowmaster and Halfling tipped the matchup in favor of Yogg versus Merc. Used to be 50-50. Maybe, yeah. But yeah, the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was really good. I loved it. I loathe. It's good. Yeah, really good. I need. Where were you, like a year ago? I needed to hear I hated it, so I could have watched it sooner. Do you have a favorite movie? Not really. Like, I usually would say Howl's Moving Castle if I was like introducing myself to a class or something, but I don't know. I just have a lot of movies I like, really. Howl's Moving Castle is one of them. Okay, let's get a trophy prediction going. I really liked Life of Pablo, but I'd say right now it's probably late registration. Not that I don't really listen to Kanye anymore, though. It's been a long time. Very talented, very mentally ill. Favorite Kendrick album? Yeah, Kendrick's been like kind of my new favorite for a long time now. And then like I always say that what are they doing? Basic Forest Go, Gigantha. I always say that Damn is my favorite Kendrick album, and like everyone's like, Damn, that's your favorite. You're supposed to say To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly is the greatest ever, but you're also allowed to say Good Kid, Mad City if that was your first Kendrick album. And it was actually I have a signed copy of Good Kid, Mad Kid. I have a signed copy of Good Kid, Mad City. It was my first Kendrick album. Ooh, scales. But I don't know. There's something about Damn that just kind of speaks to me, I guess. Damn is one of those albums that like I actually really disliked it the first time I listened to it. When I first listened to Damn, I really disliked the album, and then over time it's become like maybe my favorite album ever. It's kind of funny how that happens, right? Listen to metal at all? Not really. I listen to some Mongolian throat metal. I listen to The Who, and like recently there's been like this like there's this girl on TikTok. She's like, I can't remember. She does like she integrates like rap into I think it's Mongolian throat singing. I've been starting to listen to her like the last few weeks. So an Undying card would be pretty good draw. Seasoned Pyromancer, Goblin Bombardment. Yeah, The Who are so good. Okay. So I guess let's go Evoke Fury, pay for ward Village Rites. Let's be getting for like 4 damage. I guess I guess I Village Rites first, right? There's like not really anything stopping me from doing this first. 2 Griefs? What do I do with these? I don't know. I guess I'll just pitch a Grief to a Bloodghast to Grief and then hardcast one next turn. Jar. Yeah, I know they jar, but this gets tapped, so this lets me get in for 4 damage. Still, like, not in very good shape. When I say dedicating sideboard slots versus the One Ring makes sense, yeah, I mean, I have 2 Pithing Needles in my sideboard that I probably wouldn't have if Ring wasn't so good. That I can name Ring right now. I don't know, I probably don't need to worry too much about that. Hey, Tasha, good to see you in chat. Alright, so they drew something. Then they drew Arcbound Ravager. So we're dead to the Nexus. Fuck. I almost missed my flight, Hitachi. I got to the counter, and the lady said, "You missed your flight. There's nothing we can do." And then the other guy worker was like, "You can let him on the flight. you can let him on. It's okay." Okay, so we're gonna sideboard pretty hard. We're gonna bring in the Path of Perils and the Needles, like first Blood Moon at least, maybe 2. Is it time to start main decking Needle over Shadow Spirit Saga packages? Maybe not over it, but like, there's a good chance you'll play it. Yeah, maybe they were a fan, huh? Yeah, lucky break for sure. I had like a lot of bad breaks before that. Like my scheduled Uber didn't show up, and so I was like leaving 30 minutes late. TSA was like the TSA. It took me an hour to get through TSA at 4 a.m. At 4 a.m. on a Tuesday, it was an hour to get through, which I was really not expecting it. And then it was like a 25-minute walk to my gate at like max speed. No, I don't have pre-check, but I should probably get it, huh? Yeah, I should have played around it. Adrian Andrea. I'm probably correct to scam Grief here. Wait, did I forget to cut the two? No, the Tomb of Rummy should be cut, because this was, I think this is after I tried a version with Fable over Mayhem Devil. Right in time for the trophy? Hell yeah. So our first league with the deck has been pretty good. Bowmasters has been like a lot better than I expected. We have Nexus, Pendlehaven, Jar. They drew another Scales. So we got a top Blood Crypt, we'll get Swamp off the Mire. We do have 2 Blood Beams in the deck right now. So we could draw right now. I think I need to use my mana and cast the Spyro. Feels bad to like discard the Terminate when like can't be regenerated is pretty relevant right now. Samwise combo in the Yogg deck. I have not seen or been able to figure out a build of Samwise combo with Yawgmoth that looks reasonable yet. It's possible that there is a combination that's reasonable, but I've not been the person to figure it out yet. What's your playset of rings for 200 as a Twiddlestorm player loveless? Awesome. Yeah, rings are like so sick in that deck. The hand is Pendlehaven Mystery card. Don't think I'm dead. Could I leave the Seasoned Pyromancer back realistically? Is this just obvious? No, I think it's fine. Delighted Halfling is kind of awkward in this deck, in these decks. It's fine. So like for me, Delighted Halfling has been like a really big upgrade to the Omnath archetype, where like all your spells are legendary for the most part right now, and then like you can play Reprieve over Counterspell, Reprieve, and you can sink the colorless mana into that. You have so many like color intensive spells. Like you have that like this doesn't cast. You have it does cast Sam. You have Stringroot Geist. Maybe it's just Stringroot Geist. Oh, I guess Eldritch Evolution, too, is also, like, kind of awkward with it. Maybe that's pretty easily castable. Yeah, maybe it's just Stringroot Geist that's really awkward with this build. But that's kind of something I've been thinking about, at least. Yeah, good to see the draft. You could also maybe just cut the Geists. That could be the cut. That's what someone was doing in Yawgmoth recently, anyways. Yeah, kind of an obvious Spyro, I guess, or Undying Effect. So we'll play this tapped. Attack with the Grief. Might block with the Boss. Double block, sure. Halfling Yogg was impressed. Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that it's like a little bit worse than I thought it would be. Gonna sack the Canopy. Why did they activate Moth to make it a 5/5? Good question. They didn't activate the Ozolith. That's very weird. It's a really, really good draw. Nexus is very scary. If they sack the Canopy, we get to trigger Bowmaster too. For putting a damage on the Zabaz, not really. Just always targeting them, I think. I think we send in with everything but the Elemental token. Or maybe we just send in like this. Yeah. Just so obvious I have it, but I kind of don't care. Hardened Scales, Orcish Bowmaster. Does have like a counter, I don't know. It's not an artifact, I don't think you really want it. Could think about it a little bit more maybe. I did give them red mana for Zavaz, I guess. They drew Ballista? Oh, we're super dead. Damn it, I thought we were gonna 5-0. Let's see, how long have we been going for? Again, I woke up at 3 AM. Fly back just for the stream. You could probably do a second league with this though. So I think we're drawing to Path of Peril, although like you still just have the Welding Jar and we don't have the double black, so I guess not. I don't know. I actually have no idea what we're drawing to. Okay, so the first step is like my opponent doesn't realize they can Zabaz on the Ballista. Can't imagine not playing a single devil in the deck. Maybe it's for the best, I just can't. What would you cut? I don't know. It's like, Ballista's pretty tight. It's kind of nice not to have 3 drops. Devil's good though. Okay, well, they could probably figure that out. Alright, 4-1. Sad. Yeah, let's do another one. When they block both, they were playing around the Undying effect, right? Or like they didn't want me to Undying Seasoned Pyromancer specifically. Not a lot.